the woman who has become a living legend in the world of tennis. Somebody who has not only proven her skills when it comes to the sport, but also as a powerful voice in advocating for gender equality and racial justice. This is the story of Serena Williams, the tennis legend, and how she's had an impact that goes beyond the boundaries of sport. From an early age, Serena and her sister Venus's life in Compton, California was marked by harsh living conditions. Now, ever since they could hold a tennis racket, they was under pressure from their father, Richard Williams, to prove their tennis skills. Now, he taught them tennis from an early age on courts that was littered with hazards, that the girls had to train with broken glass lying on the courts and the frequent sounds of gunfire surrounding them. However, these harsh training sessions didn't shy away from the sport. Instead, it made them resilient and strengthened them as women, which became a fundamental part of both the sisters' identities on and off the court. And it's not like Richard himself had professional knowledge or experience with tennis. He used what he learned from books and videos to train his daughters. He wasn't well off enough to afford private courts, and so he resorted to training them on the public courts of Compton, despite whatever gang activities was going on nearby. It was these harsh environments that helped him mold both of his daughters into the tennis prodigies that they are today. The early exposure to the harshness and negativities of life strengthened Serena enough to face the challenges and biases that she would encounter in professional tennis. She had everything it took to become one of the legends of tennis: power, agility, strength, and the ability to make strategic decisions.
Here are some of my trophies. And then some really cool pieces that really mean a lot to me. Wheaties box. I don't keep a lot of my Grand Slam trophies here.
Now, these skills that made her a champion in the sport were the same ones that helped her in her fight for equality in both sports and society. Throughout her career in tennis, Serena has achieved an immense amount of success. Now, she's received 23 Grand Slam single titles, which is the most by any player in the Open era. She was also the first black woman to hold the world #1 ranking in the Open era in July of 2002. Her particular style of play transformed women's tennis completely, even at the highest levels. Her power and athleticism show how women can play the sport just as well as men. She also achieved the Serena Slam, winning all 4 major titles consecutively. Now, her impact on tennis ain't just her record of winning, but she's ignited a fire in a generation of girls to pursue careers in not only tennis, but all kinds of sports. She's also received 4 Olympic gold medals, 1 for singles and the other 3 in doubles with her sister. Now, Serena has also been named Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year and has appeared on Time's list of the 100 most influential people multiple times. Of course, public and professional success can't protect a person against personal challenges. Despite being an athlete, Serena too has faced a lot of health struggles, especially in her experience with motherhood. After she gave birth to her daughter, Alexis Olympia, in 2017, she faced severe postpartum complications. According to her, she almost died while bringing new life into the world. In 2011, she was diagnosed with a life-threatening pulmonary embolism. Now, initially, she did request her doctors for CT scans and appropriate treatments, but they dismissed all these requests until her condition became so bad, the medical intervention was absolutely necessary. Her experience shows that black women's healthcare concerns and issues are often sidelined and even straight up ignored, and that even the healthcare sector is filled with racial injustice. Even her status wasn't enough to protect Serena from these racial biases present in the medical treatment. Now, after sharing her story, Serena became an advocate for healthcare injustices, with her main motto being to ensure there is fair and respectful treatment for everybody in the medical community. And not just in the healthcare sector, but Serena's also used her platform to raise her voice for gender equality and social justice in all walks of life. After her maternity leave, she advocated for the need for policies that help female athletes balance motherhood and careers. With every action and voice raised, Serena has shown us that being a top athlete ain't just about personal success, it's also about using your status and influence to advocate for important causes. Now, she's challenged almost every institution to adopt more equality-favoring practices, too. As she celebrated her 41st birthday, Serena was faced with a challenge of balancing her tennis career with her family life. Now, it's the same struggle that every woman faces, the struggle of juggling personal commitments with professional ones. But Serena stayed vocal about these challenges, which was a great insight into the pressure that female athletes face. The world doesn't function in a way that allows aging and motherhood to work side by side with professional achievements, but Serena has done her best to change that narrative.
And Serena smashes Steffi's record. It's number 23, an iconic number.
Of course, her achievements in tennis come with its own fair share of challenges too. Now, she was penalized at the US Open for expressing frustration over an umpire's decision. Now, this decision was met with a lot of criticism, with many people feeling like she was given a much more severe punishment than her male colleagues would have been given, which shows the double standards present in sports. Now, Serena's also been under a lot of scrutiny for her physique and her choice of clothes, making her a victim of sexism time and time again. Due to the issues that she encountered, Serena's also pushed for greater inclusion and equality within tennis itself. Now, this ain't where the criticism aimed at her ends though. Her whole career has been marked by moments where her on-court demeanor has been severely criticized. In high-pressure situations, her reactions to the umpire's calls have been a topic of intense debates. Now, Serena's a sportsman after all, and has the competitiveness that comes with it. But sometimes her competitiveness comes out in ways that a lot of people think are against the spirit of sportsmanship. During the 2018 US Open final against Naomi Osaka, there was a dispute with the umpire over a coaching violation. Now, Serena had an objection to the penalty, which resulted in a huge argument with the umpire, and that took the spotlight away from Naomi's first Grand Slam win. Serena was heavily criticized for taking away the winning moment from her opponent. For a lot of people, she was unable to handle defeat like a sportsman, with grace. Serena's always been incredibly vocal against umpire decisions and has often labeled her objections as gender and racial biases in tennis. Now, people say that she's playing the race and gender cards and that she's using societal issues as a defense to do whatever she wants to on the court. But we cannot deny that there's a lot of double standards in the sports world, specifically in how the emotional outburst of male and female athletes is treated. When a male athlete's got an emotional outburst, it's called his passion for the game. But when a female athlete has one, it's scrutinized, or she's having a moment or a fit. Now, despite all these criticisms and controversies, Serena's impact on tennis is something that we simply cannot deny. Her style, her power, and her athleticism have inspired countless girls to step into their athlete careers. Her voice has spread awareness about the inequalities in sports, with active work being done even now to mediate it. Now, of course, the media's not always portrayed Serena as a favorable figure. It's always focused on the controversies surrounding her rather than her contributions to tennis. Maybe it's this media portrayal that shaped how the public thinks about her. After all, her emotional outburst was in a high-stakes environment where this pressure is insanely high.
If you could force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you.
Look, it's really valid to scrutinize the moments where Serena's had arguments with umpires and management, but it's just as important to acknowledge the challenges that she's faced as a black woman in a predominantly white sport. Yeah, it's her outspoken nature and unwillingness to quietly accept decisions that might have stolen her opponent's winning moment, but it's these same qualities that have also raised awareness for equality, diversity, and inclusion. And without all the work that she's done anyway, would her opponent have even been able to make it that far in the Open Tour? Probably not. Serena Williams is definitely a complex figure in the world of sports, but she's made a legacy as one of the greatest tennis players of all time, and that cannot be denied. She might be a subject of controversy, but she's also a catalyst for change.